Ciao, hello, I'm Julia from Hygiene and here with me Mark and Ouden, a very well-known trainer and consultant in the mushroom business. Why we are here today, Mark?
We are here to talk about hygiene measures before we start filling. We will step by step tell the most important points. Check also the drain. You have to see if it's really closed and clean. So you see that it's very clean and there's no compost or mushrooms left over. And also you see inside here there is water, so there is a water lock. So that's very important because the air, this is a clean room, the air from next room can easily go from this side, from that room to this room. So that's important, that's not happening because air can be also polluted with spores. This is the door to the corridor on the other side. Important that this one is very close because the corridor is a very dirty place because also the mushrooms are going on that side. So that's why this door should be very closed. You can check how it's closed by light. So you have to check around this part and this part, but also below if the rubbers are still okay. The best way to check is to turn off the light and close the door and see if you still have light inside. Okay, if you have the panels, it's also a good choice to have panels, but you have to check very well if they are still connecting very well. So in the start, as you see here, there is some silicone kit in between and it will be closed like you see here. But sometimes it can happen also because of cooking out, there's always working material and moving material, so it can be opened. And you see it a little bit here, it's still closed, but it's already moved a little bit. How to repair this, and that you can see in the corner, it's here, it's the coating. You make a little bit of coating inside or on it, and it should be very dry when you put it on, but in that way you can close it very well. Why it should be closed, that's exactly with the doors, because dust, spores and especially flies can go from one room to the other room. So here you see also the coating, because this corner from the ceiling and the wall is a lot of times a problem. So with the coating you are sure it's closed. And another problem, or another point why you don't see it, is always behind the air tube, which normally is full, so you don't see it. So that's why you have to check extra. Okay, another point to have attention to is where the sensor cable or the sensor cable are going into the ceiling. Here, when there is a hole here, also the flies can very easily go up and inside. So that's why you have to make sure once a year to make some silicone kit that it is be closed. If you look here, I think it's not closed because you can move it very easy, so it's good to check. So you see also the cable of the light, like you see here, it's closed because you cannot move it. So this one is okay. So here you see the yellow plate. It's already in the room before start filling, because you can immediately see if you have flies also during filling. And it's a sticky yellow plate. You can see it's sticky. So the flies will go because attracted by the yellow color, stays on the plate. So it's not only to catch but also to see the flies in the start. People use a disinfecting mat. Important for the disinfecting mat is that they are very clean, like you see here. So there are no organic material inside. A lot of time I see in mushroom farms, they have nice mats, even more professional than this one, but they are very dirty. And if they are dirty, they are not disinfection but infection mats. So it gives you a lot of infection. So on a daily rate, clean them very well, and you see also make disinfection on it, of course. Also important is to clean the shelf, because if you have some organic material left over, some compost or mushrooms on that part, or especially in that part, you can have still some molds which you don't like. So that's why cleaning the shelves is a very important job. It can be done also by the machine. If you do it by the machine, you are always 100% sure every part is cleaned. If people are doing it, they can always forget one small part, and that can be already your infection. So important is to check, especially in those corners, here on the front of the shelf, if it's all clean in here, or even down here. So in the shelves, especially with the connection here and on the sides, it's very important it's clean, there is no compost left over. Okay, here we are again back to the back door, and the back door is also important to close. That's the same as in the small door. The rubbers on the sides, on the top and down should be very tight, so you don't see any light in it. How to check? A lot of people check like this. Oh, I don't see light, that's okay, but that's not the real issue. If you want to check, you have to check 100%. A special attention to the small door. It's most of the time, as you can see, the emergency door. If there is a case of emergency, people can go out. But also important, this door should be very good to close. So it can be open like this, but if you close it, you should close it very well, like this. So make sure this is very good closed. Sometimes if you never open the door, you can also use some tape over it, so it's easy to break open, but for the flies it's not possible to come in. So here you see the filter in the door. This is an exhaust door, so the air from the room goes outside in this part. Here they use a G2 filter, so it's a drop filter. I prefer more a sort of net where the flies cannot go in. In the next picture you will see how the net is, because you cannot make the outside air better. All the spores are at least as much as inside as outside. On the moment of filling, it's important to prevent the dust during filling, because dust is always with, especially on the mushroom farm, with spores. So how can you prevent dust? Is with an easy sprinkler. With this sprinkler you can make sure that it's the surface, the area around the filling will be wetted, so the dust will be stay down. And another very important point about that is that also flies don't like wet areas. So by keeping the surrounding area wet during filling, you prevent a lot of problems. So you can see here, the total floor is clean. And also before filling it should be washed again, even it looks like clean because there are still dust on it. And as I said again, dust are also spores. If you are filling, never go out of the floor, because this part is always dirty. If it's grass or something else, it's dirty. So keep everyone on the clean floor. For the machines, it's important that you take away all the big blocks of compost, which we will explain you later. And where you have to look is more or less those points where you really not can see very well, but what you can flush with a lot of water the big compost away. So if you look and check the machines, you look like a CSI, and you really have to find. It looks very clean, but if you look very carefully, then go inside. And here you find still some compost inside. So if you have a compost like this, you can also disinfect. But you disinfect only the outside of the compost. So if you have, for example, compost which have a little bit of green mold inside, here inside it will never disinfect. So it will be with hygiene the contrario, the differences. If you disinfect organic material, it's very hygienic, clean, and that's why all the molds will grow very quickly. So that's why it's more important to clean the machine than to disinfect the machine. So this is the climate unit in front of the room. And from this tube, the air comes from outside into the room. And you see over there is a crop filter. And after the crop filter is a fine filter. In this way it's important to keep out the spores into the room. So here you see the corridor. It's an empty corridor because you can clean an empty corridor very well. If the corridor is more full with all other materials as boxes, it's impossible to clean very well. Why it's important to clean your corridor? Because in the corridor you walk in and out the rooms, but also your mushrooms, which are dirty or can be affected with all kinds of diseases, into the corridor. You walk very easily back into your new rooms. So that's why daily cleaning like this is a very important job. Okay, we will also important is your clothes, they are clean. So before starting to fill, make sure your clothes are clean or you have an overall. And of course also before you disinfect your shoes, it has no sense if there are still compost under it. So make sure your shoes are also very clean. So it's not only about cleaning yourself, but also the materials you use, like a broom and this part, it should be clean. So all organic materials should be out of it.